Life as a foreign professional in Singapore isn't always what the glossy travel videos or success stories make it look like. My name is Daniel. I'm from Australia, and I spent more than 10 years living in Singapore. 5 of those years I worked under an employment pass. And in that time, I saw both sides of the story, the big opportunities, and the quiet struggles that most people never talk about. I'm not here to tell you not to move. I just want to help you see what really happens behind those clean streets and shining skyscrapers. Before you take that leap, Chapter 1, the dream versus the reality. When I first moved to Singapore, it honestly felt like a dream. Everything was clean, organized, and efficient, like the whole country was built to run perfectly. The airport felt like a luxury hotel. The trains ran on time, and the city skyline looked like something out of a movie. Finding a job was exciting too. There were opportunities everywhere, especially for people coming from overseas. And the best part? Everyone spoke English. It made life simple. You could build a career, make friends from all over the world, and still feel safe walking home late at night. And the food, that's something I'll never forget. Hawker centers became my second home places, where you could grab a full meal with rice, meat and vegetables for just a few dollars. Every corner had a story. Malay food, Indian curries, Chinese noodles. It felt like eating through Asia in one city. But over time, I started to see another side of life in Singapore, a side that most newcomers don't notice at first. The long hours, the constant pressure to perform, the fear of losing your job, because losing your job could also mean losing your visa. Singapore runs on competition. People even have a word for it, kiasu. It means being afraid to lose. And once you're in that system, you start to feel it too. The emails at midnight, the weekend calls, the pressure to always be on. The truth is, living in Singapore can be both inspiring and exhausting at the same time. Chapter 2, the hidden costs of living in Singapore. When people think of Singapore, they often imagine luxury, beautiful condos, fast trains, and a modern city that feels like the future. But what most people don't realize is that this kind of lifestyle comes with a heavy price tag. Rent in Singapore is brutal. Even after more than 10 years there, I never really had a place that felt like home. For most expats, renting a single room, not an apartment, just one room costs around $1,000 to $1,500 a month. And if you want your own space, studio or one-bedroom apartment can easily cross $3,000. That means a huge part of your salary disappears before the month even begins. And if you're not making big money, you'll constantly feel like you're just working to survive. The truth is, Singapore can make you feel rich on paper, but broke in reality. It's one of those places where you can be earning well and still feel like you're always catching up. Then comes the work culture. Overtime is normal. Messages at night, normal. Meetings on weekends, as a normal. It's part of the rhythm, fast, relentless, and demanding. There's even a word people use for it, kiasu. It means afraid to lose. And once you're in that system, it's hard not to fall into it yourself. I remember nights where I'd still be replying to work emails past midnight. Not because anyone forced me to, but because everyone else was doing it too. That's the unspoken rule: keep up or get left behind. And this is where the pressure really builds. Because for foreigners like me, your job isn't just a job, it's your lifeline. Lose it, and you lose your visa. Lose your visa, and your whole life in Singapore can disappear almost overnight. That's the side most people never see. The hidden cost isn't just money. It's mental. It's emotional. It's the constant fear that one small change, a new rule, a company layoff could send everything crashing down. Chapter 3, the visa trap. In Singapore, your life as a foreign professional is directly tied to one thing: your visa. It decides where you live, how long you stay, and whether you can even call Singapore home. When I first arrived, I thought getting a work visa was just a formality. You get a job. You get a visa, simple as that. But over the years, I realized how uncertain that system really is. The rules can change at any moment. And when they do, you either meet the new criteria, or you pack your bags. There are different types of work passes: work permit, S-Pass, and employment pass. Each one has its own salary requirement and restrictions. If you're on a work permit, it usually means you're in a lower income role like service or manual labor. You can't change jobs freely, and there are strict limits, even on personal things like getting married or pregnant. Then there's the S-Pass, which sounds better on paper, but it's not easy to get. Companies only have a small quota for S-Pass holders, and competition is fierce. The Employment Pass, or EP, is what most foreign professionals aim for. It's meant for skilled workers earning above a certain salary. When I first came to Singapore, the minimum salary was about $4,000. By 2025, that number had more than doubled now. It's around $8,500. That means every time the government updates the rules, thousands of people risk losing their right to stay, even if they've lived and worked here for years. And here's the thing, even if you play by all the rules, there's no guarantee you'll ever get permanent residency. The process is long, complicated, and never fully transparent. Some people get it within a year, others wait 10 years, and still get rejected without explanation. So imagine this. You've built your whole life here, your friends, your job, your home, and one policy update could erase it all overnight. That's the part no one really talks about. For expats in Singapore, you're always one rule away from starting over. Chapter 4. When it's time to leave. There's a moment every expat dreads, that quiet realization that maybe it's time to move on. For me, that moment came slowly, not through a big event or a crisis, but through small signs that started adding up. Suddenly, every contract renewal felt uncertain. My visa processing took longer than usual. Friends who had lived here for years started leaving one by one. It wasn't that I stopped loving Singapore, I still do. It's one of the safest, cleanest, and most efficient countries I've ever lived in. But deep down, I realized something important. Singapore isn't designed to be your forever home. It's designed to be a place where talent comes, contributes, and then eventually moves on. And that's the part most people never see. You can build a good life here, but you can't build permanence. Your visa, your job, your stability. They all depend on systems you can't control. When I finally decided to leave, it wasn't out of anger or disappointment. It was acceptance. I had given my best years to this country, and it had given me lessons I couldn't have learned anywhere else. Leaving Singapore wasn't failure. It was just the end of a chapter. Chapter 5, What Singapore Taught Me. If there's one thing Singapore taught me, it's this: comfort doesn't always mean stability. You can have a great salary, a beautiful apartment, and weekend trips to Bali. But if your right to stay depends on a visa that can vanish overnight, then your foundation isn't as solid as it seems. And yet that's also what makes Singapore so unique. It runs on a simple deal: performance and merit. If you bring value, you'll thrive. But if you stop evolving, the system moves on without you. It's not personal, it's policy. Living there taught me discipline, precision, and efficiency. It showed me how much a country can achieve when rules actually work. But it also reminded me of something deeper. That home isn't just where life feels easy. It's where you're allowed to belong. So, if you're thinking about moving to Singapore, go. Experience it, but do it with open eyes. Because behind the bright skyline and polished systems, there's a lesson every expat eventually learns. You don't just live in Singapore. You rent your place in it,